Alright guys, so man, I really appreciate it. I can't say enough. You can't say it in 59 seconds. But I wanted to get the short out there to show people that we're making a long video about it. And the comments were amazing. I really appreciate good comments, bad comments. A lot of people are right. I think all these parts we brought out of there, I think we're going to be able to sell 75% of them for the foundation. We had a large donation to go out there and bring these parts home. And part of the parts were donated to us, so we're going to be able to give them back at a real good price to people. So I was saying in a short video, there was what all was in that warehouse: brakes, rotors, calipers, master cylinders, points, condensers, solenoids, you name it, fuel pumps, rebuild kits, transmission rebuild kits, motor rebuild kits, timing chains galore, just everything you can imagine. You got to understand, this warehouse was the main warehouse for GW2E's 15 stores. Okay, so enough of all that. So everybody says take it apart and check it. Well, here's the problem: you're not going to find some of these diaphragms, and I'm not taking all these apart before I sell them. But we do have, there's so many of them listed here. 1940 to 1948 Cadillac. Okay, some of them, we know what they are. Some of them, we do not. I can't even imagine what beast that fits on. But you want to talk about a well-built pump. I'm going to tell you what, a very well-built pump. Now, the goal is right now is to take one of these pumps apart. This is the one I'm going to try on my Warlock. I got a 440 in my Warlock. This pump is actually for a 361, the first Mopar big block, but 361, 383, 400, 440, I think even 426 are all the same fuel pump. So this is the one we're going to take apart. We're going to take it apart right now. Actually, this one, because this is the one I want to try on my Warlock. But we're going to see if this one's any good. They're all the same era. They're all pumps from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Do we know when this pump was built? We don't. It's a Carter rebuildable pump. From what I've read online, they stopped making rebuildable pumps in the early 70s. You can still buy rebuildable pumps. I'll tell you the one that I bought. I'm not going to mention any names, but I bought a $230 rebuildable pump, high volume. Figured it was going to supply the dual fours on my Cuda, and it lasted about 6 months to the ethanol. In Delaware, it's what we got. We got ethanol, and that sucked. We can go to Maryland to get non-ethanol, but we're going to see whether they have new diaphragms for, I've rebuilt one of these probably 25 years ago. I don't remember if it, we're going to see. Can we get ethanol diaphragms for these today? But let's see. Let's open this thing up. Let's check it out. Let's see if we get a spring that comes out here. Now, we were going through some of these boxes. Like I said, there's 5. There is close to between 500 and 1,000 manual fuel pumps. Most of them in boxes, so most of them we're going to be able to identify. But we're just going to have to, as when we went out there, we had 2 weeks. I was given a certain amount of money in a donation. And unfortunately, 5 men out there, plus the cash helpers that we got in there, that money only went so far. So we had to get in there. We had to get all this stuff. We had to make Gaylord boxes. We had to make shipping boxes. We had to weigh the pallets to make sure we didn't overload the tractor trailers. I mean, there was a lot going on there. And I didn't get to see half these parts. I really didn't. I'd walk down the aisles, and I put out a short earlier today. I walked down the aisles and looked at some of it. When I went out there in August before we purchased it, we part of it was purchased, part of it was a donation, and we went out there with the donated money, part of it. So I never got to see all the parts. I got to walk down the aisles, but as you can imagine, if you go back, I'm probably going to put out the video the time that I went out there before we decided to do this. And it was overwhelming. There's so many car parts there. Let's hope a spring don't pop out here. Probably is a pretty damn strong spring in here, if I remember right. I don't remember if it's on the top or the bottom. Let's see what happens. What do you think? Things any good? Never had gas in it, so I'm thinking it's still good. I'm not feeling any pressure yet. Been a long time. Hope everybody's staying warm. Well, she definitely don't want to pop open. It's just center bolt holding it together. Let's see what we got here. We have to give it a few cracks. Watch it pop across the room. Yeah, I know, a socket's not a hammer. Stop it. There it goes. Wow. Well, I can tell you what. That rubber's in very good shape. I know there's a spring here. Wow. Huh. Might have to go get a hammer and a chisel. I got all the screws out. She's on there pretty damn good. She ain't popping. Don't even say it. I know. A hammer. Or a rubber mallet. Wow. She ain't coming open. I don't want to beat it to death. Might be pausing this video to go get a hammer or a small mallet and chisel. I really thought they'd come open. In fact, the boxes have instructions in them. When you get them, you're supposed to tighten the springs up. Or tighten the screws up on it. Wow. This really ain't going to happen, guys. A little spot here, I can get into it. Bitch gonna fly across the room, isn't it? She's gonna fly across the room when she comes open, isn't she? Yeah. There's no center bolt. All the screws are out. Alright, pause the video. We're gonna go get a small mallet and small chisel and crack on her a little bit. We'll be right back. Alright, of course, playing with it got it to pop. But here we go. What do we got? She don't want to come. Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with these pumps. Look at that, gentlemen. Look at that. Probably way better rubber. I can't wait to see whether this rubber is going to hold up to ethanol. I bet this is an extremely well-made pump. It's got a spring behind it. So we're going to see. Damn it, I didn't make a mark at how it was clocked either. I guess this one's not going back together. Anyway, there it is for all you guys out there. Will it hold up the rubber? I kind of like the guy's idea. One guy said rub them in tranny fluid. He said he used to get mechanical pumps and they'd have tranny fluid inside to preserve them. But I'm gonna tell you what, look at that, guys. Maybe I should soak that. Now that's probably a 1970s mechanical fuel pump. In fact, from what I read online, it seems like they stopped making these in 1970, unless you were buying them for high performance. And these aren't high performance. These are just regular fuel pumps. That's the way they were made today. Look at it. Look at it. Look at that thing. Look at how that was built. That's one strong ass fuel pump. And I'm going to say it's a 6-cylinder for the size of the amount of fuel that comes out of it. Another Carter. It says Carter on it. Well, that was uneventful, wasn't it? We went through the snowmageddon here. A foot of snow, 2 inches of ice. Obviously, I'm not walking out to the Warlock and bolting this thing on. But we're going to bolt this one on. We're going to bolt it on and see what happens. I think it's going to work fine. We're going to find out. Yes, of course. I have a fuel filter up by the carburetor. Right now, I just got an outer block carburetor on the 440. So yes, I'm gonna have a fuel filter on it in case it disintegrates. I'm gonna tell you what. Looking at that, somebody said it's gonna disintegrate the minute I fire it up. No, it ain't. That rubber ain't gonna disintegrate. Man, that's a hell of a piece of rubber. Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with them pumps. We'll see how it holds up the ethanol. Maybe I need to take a cup of gas and pour that in there and see what that does. Lay it in a cup of gas for a couple of days and see what it does to it. See if it makes it real soft. See what the ethanol does to it. Of course, it's going to be different under the pressure when this pump is actually working. So, yep, very uneventful little video for you guys, but I wanted to do it. And as soon as the temperatures get right, we'll get this bolted on, fire it up. I think it's going to fire up just fine. I think it's going to be very uneventful. The question is going to be 6 months from now. Is the ethanol going to eat at this rubber? I bet you this is way better rubber than what they're using in any of them today. And I got news for you. The real expensive one I bought from a speed shop, it failed in 3 months. And they said it would handle ethanol. So they don't even know. Anyway, guys, uneventful video. Stay tuned. We're gonna as soon as this weather breaks, we're gonna be back out to the containers. We're gonna be pulling it all out. We've got close to 5,000 items going into the store now. We're averaging about 50 items a day. As you can imagine, when you run across the box like this, you got to pull it out. You got to make sure everything's in it, and then you got to find that number. And Aerotech's easy number to find, but what's not going to be easy to find? Well, that's an Aerotech too. There are some numbers that cross-reference into another number, and you can see right there we brought all the books home from Tui's. Okay, so, but it's easy to go to a book and say, hey, I want a 1970 Plymouth fuel pump. What's hard is opening that book and going backwards, finding your fuel pump number and then finding what it fits. Thank God Google's offered us a lot of help in finding the parts. Now, let me go back to, yes, there's 6-volt stuff there. Yes, there is, there's parts dating all the way back, what's that one? 1940 to 1948 Cadillac. Whatever people worked on, we have found snowmobile parts, Harley Davidson parts. We have found, oh man, the list was long. We've been finding all kinds of parts, and I'm adding to the store categories as I find makes and models I haven't added yet. But again, what we got out of this warehouse, must be every brake known to man: drum brakes, disc brakes, calipers, brake lines, suspension, complete rebuild suspension kits, bushings, ball joints, upper, lower, tie rod ends. Oh God, massive tie rod ends. We found complete steering links. I found steering links that were 5 feet long. I had to go to a big old farm truck or something. But let's see, motor parts. We found pistons. We found cams. We found flat tappet lifters. We found rocker arms, push rods, oil pumps. Not a lot of oil pumps, but still there were some good oil pumps there. Timing chain sets, and I mean good old Coyotes timing chain sets. A lot of double rollers, timing gear sets, timing belt sets. We found massive amounts of Felpro gaskets under a different name, but if you turn the box and look on the side, it says manufactured by Felpro. That's the way it was back then. There was 2 or 3 manufacturers, and then people bought them and put them on their name. Mr. Tui actually, George W. Tui actually had his own box he had his own box that said Tui Auto Parts on it. That had, we found, what was it? It was a, I think it was an Aerotech fuel pump or something. But let's get back to the list of parts. Transmission rebuild kits, individual transmission parts, transmission bushings. We found rear gears. We found a massive amount of bearings. We're going to be forever getting all the bearings listed. And I hear there's some bearings they don't make anymore, so hopefully we can help somebody with that. We found dash switches, wiper switches, solenoids. I can't think of the name of it right now, but little solenoids that handle light controls in the dash. We found lots of headlight switches, starter ignition key sets. We found starter rebuild parts. We found wow, the list was incredible out there, guys. Lots of windshield wiper motors, lots of engine compartment parts, the radiator caps and the thermostats. All of them were before 1990, or before actually the warehouse closed in 2001 is when they stopped selling car parts, and that's when it looks like they bottled up the 15 stores that he had, and moved all their shelving and all the other parts back to this warehouse that didn't get sold out of the stores. So I'm going to do a story on GW2. He was an amazing man. I was lucky enough to run into a lady who worked with Mr. Tui personally, and you know, I thought it shut down when he passed away. It didn't. Okay, Mr. Tui had started after he got out of the service. He was a police officer in Louisville, and then he started this automotive store and a repair business, and then it expanded into 15 parts stores. But Mr. Tui was a very smart businessman. I found newspaper articles. They said he was one hell of a businessman. He went into property, and in 1999, 2000, with all the Pep Boys advances and everything else coming in, he decided to close his parts stores and concentrate on his real estate, because by then UPS had already claimed it a UPS hub out there. Around his store, most of the houses are gone. Around this warehouse, most of the houses were gone, and it was all UPS. We were sitting on the loading dock eating lunch, watching the UPS planes take off. So Mr. Tui just basically said enough with the car parts. He'd had his fun with them. He wasn't a hot rodder anymore. In the day, back in the 50s, he was a stock car racer, and he said he had enough. And not long after he passed, GW2 passed, Doug, his son, passed, and after a divorce, the grandkids got control of the property, and they just sold it all off. Kind of a crappy story to a man who spent his whole life doing his passion, but that's how it happens. So we'll be back. We got tons of videos coming out about sorting the parts out, about getting the parts listed, about the things we're running into with the parts. We're still working with Ronnie up to the Corvette shop. He's in the middle of finishing the 68 big block motion car. And I call it a motion car because it wasn't built by Baldwin, but it was built down, that motion car was built down the street from Baldwin at a different Chevrolet with all of Baldwin motion parts. But it's safe to call it a motion car. The other car there has a kit that came from Eckler. It's called a wide body, and in some are calling it, back in the 70s, they called them Frankensteins. So we're going to be back up there working with Ronnie at the Corvette shop. We have a slew of original muscle car parts from Trans Ams, Cudas, Challengers, Roadrunners, Chargers that we still have to go through. And in the last couple of days, I've been offered more collections to be donated to the foundation, and that excites me. We're gonna go out. We're gonna look at these other collections. We're gonna bring you all along with us. And you know, a lot of people my age are done, and they don't need the parts, the tools. I had one lady call me with a 67 Camaro in the garage, all apart, with all of her husband's tools and all the parts to put the car together. And she said she donated to the foundation. And so we don't know what's in store for us and what the true path is, but the goal is to build a museum and a tech center. And why build a tech center? There are still some schools around here, but there's so many men and women that I have met personally came to my house for me to help repair their car, that wanted to learn how to repair their car, but they didn't have the time. So the idea behind the tech center is to have weekend classes, have nighttime classes where guys can come in and learn how to do different things. I don't care if the guy only gets an hour or 8 hours on a car. It's all experience, valuable experience to see the way the old people, the old timers did it. And I got a lineup of true mechanics from the old world, from the old school, that have a lot to offer people. They just can't stand on a concrete floor anymore. So if they can do a class here, a class there, give tips, give tricks, talk to young men and women, that's what we're going to do. So stay tuned, guys. Appreciate you stopping by. Have a lot more videos to come. CudaBill out.